Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. We have got a big show, so when you have a big show you have to bring in the big names. Rob Popplestone out, finally gone. The great KG Cunningham has joined me in the chair. KG, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Phil. Looking forward to a big show.
Now, mate, this weekend is a monster weekend. Crows v Richmond. It comes down 2:30, the bounce. How are you seeing it?
Well, look, there's no doubt, and I know I'm a Crows man, and you know that, Smiley. Look,
just a touch biased.
If the Crows play at their best, and if Richmond play at their best, the Crows win. Look, it'll be a cracking game. It'll be a game worth watching because Richmond are playing a good brand of football. So are the Crows, but come to the wire. If the Crows play at their best, they'll win. All right.
Before we go to Rachel, just to talk about the sports news update. Sturt v the Magpies last weekend.
Fantastic
1 point game, 40,000 fans.
Unbelievable.
At Adelaide Oval. What's the attraction all of a sudden for such a big turnout? Is it the rivalry Sturt Magpies? Is it Adelaide Oval? Is it because people have started to fall back in love with the SNFL, or all of those things and more?
All of those things, particularly the Port Sturt rivalry. You can go back to the 60s when I was umpiring in the bow and arrow days. They were great rivals in 65, 66 and so on. Look, Port and Sturt don't like each other on the football ground, and they produce games like we saw on Sunday. That was a ripping last quarter. That was one of the best contests I've seen in SANFL football for a long, long time. Wasn't pretty, Smiley, but the contest was fantastic.
All right, it's time to get to Rachel McDonald to find out what's been happening in sport here in South Australia. Rachel?
Thanks, Phil, and what a week in footy it's been across the state. The Crow Boys might have made us wait 19 years, but they're finally heading to the MCG for that one day in September. Adelaide got the lead early in the preliminary final against the Cats on Friday night, blowing the score out to a solid 61-point lead by the time the final siren sounded. They'll take on Tigers in the grand final, hopefully with Mitch McGovern, whose sore hamstring kept him off the field against the Cats. The biggest story of the night, though, was definitely Rory Sloane knocking Paddy Dangerfield out for a few seconds, and then getting up like he'd not just ran straight into his old teammate. Just hard-hitting footy, according to wife Beck Sloane, and the match review panel agreed. There was hardly a dry eye in the house of one of the biggest crowds, with Adelaide Oval bursting with just over 53,000 people. Thanks to Leighton Hewitt's pre-game package about the last few years at Crowland, with the death of coach Phil Walsh and assistant coach Dean Bailey, it was an emotional night for everyone. What a nail-biting finish it was to the Maccas League SANFL Grand Final. The Double Blues did it again, just getting home by 1 point against Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval on Sunday. Port wasted early chances, which Sturt capitalised on, with Corey Beard kicking the first goal, getting the ball rolling for the Premiers. Zane Kirkwood, James Battersby and Jack Stephen all dominated for Sturt and got the Blues over the line when the final siren sounded. The third quarter proved hard for both sides, scoreless as the clock ticked over into the 23rd minute. With a thrilling final quarter, the Double Blues celebrated well into the night, with Fraser Evans winning the Jack Odie medal for best on ground. Sturt's reserves also had reason to celebrate, beating West Adelaide by 15 points in the reserves grand final. Another week, another round of ineligible players. This time, the Southern Football League's Christie Beach under-16 girls have had their wins stripped from them. They played the grand final against Happy Valley and smashed them 84-0, but the game's now been ruled a non-result. The league's investigations committee has disqualified both clubs after it was found 3 players were fielded and Happy Valley provided a team sheet that didn't clearly identify which of its players had lined up on the day. No premiership medals have been handed out, and the league says they will be looking to hold seminars next year for team managers to help avoid these mistakes happening again. It seems O'Sullivan's Beach senior teams have had enough. They've voted to move from the Southern Football League because they're sick of being thrashed every week. The seniors will be a part of the Adelaide Football League for next year's footy season, but the juniors will stay. Sullies have won 12 out of 76 games and have an average losing margin of 137 points this year. So basically, at least 15 to 20 goals each game. The only win they did get was against the winless Marion, who may join them next year. The clubs say they have to try something new to entice the players to stay, because who really wants to lose by over 100 points each week? The club will join Edwardstown, Brighton, Morphettville and Hackham in the Adelaide Football League, with those clubs making the move since the new league was started. With the footy season drawing to a close, the basketball season is beginning with the Singapore Cup underway. US imports Shannon Shorter and Ronald Roberts were on fire Thursday night for the Adelaide 36ers, winning their first match in the Merlion Cup. They had a thumping win over the Yulon Luxgen Dinos, smashing them 104-46. Shorter had a top score of 20, while Roberts hit 19. The 36ers captain, Brendan Tees, missed the first game back with a knee injury, but is expected to be back for the game tonight against the Singapore Slings. There was a bit of controversy for the start of Adelaide's trip, with Sudanese-born Majok Deng denied entry into the country due to visa issues and being sent straight back to Australia. There's some trouble in Bowlsland for the Adelaide Endurance. They've been forced to withdraw from the Premier League due to rising costs. State government body confirmed it wouldn't be entering the team into the national competition because they were unable to fund the 50 grand required to participate. In response to the 2020 cricket, the Premier League has been running the national competition, with Adelaide Endurance being a part of the last 5 editions, finishing runner-up on 3 occasions. The cash that's usually helping to fund the team is now being redirected to the grassroots programs throughout the state. Adelaide and Perth were the only BPL sides funded by state bodies, rather than corporate backers or gaming machine subsidised bowls clubs. And that's your weekly wrap-up of sport across the state. Back to you, boys.
Absolutely outstanding,
Sick.
Rachel Cates.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Plenty coming up on the show. The Thunderbirds are going to come in, have a chat with one of their new recruits, Jared Cotton from the SNFL. Give us an idea of what's happened over there with Nord. We've got a footy umpire coming in, Cage, so we can have a chat about you. And, of course, the Prez of the Southern Footy League, Craig Warman, will join us. They had their grand final. Plenty coming up on the show. Hope you can stay with us for the next hour.